Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maverick Moses and we are about to do the Book Fiends live chat on this channel. It's a live stream where we're going to be talking about our January book of the month, Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. This might appear backwards to you, I don't know. But I am joined by Cassandra Carpio of the Bookish Crypt. Unfortunately, Don Kurtagich, one of our co-hosts, was not able to make it. Something popped up last minute. And Marie Ventris, who is another co-host in the Book Fiends Club, is going to be popping on later on in the chat. Another thing popped up for her last minute. So she's going to try her best to be in the comments with all of you, chatting it up there. And then when she's able to get on camera, she'll hop on in and join the discussion with the rest of us on here. But for right now, we are going to be talking a little bit about Sawkill Girls. But first, I want to introduce you to one of my co-hosts, Cassandra Carpio of the Bookish Crypt. Can you introduce yourself, Cassandra?
Oh my goodness, sure. My name is Cassandra and I am from the Bay Area, and I think I started Bookstagram like almost 5 years ago. So that's how I got in
Wow.
everything. I
And
review
for anybody
books.
watching, if you haven't seen Cass's Instagram, it's at the Bookish Crypt. Her pictures are so cool because she just has like a bunch of like skulls and everything. Like y'all always compliment me on my shelves about like I have like skulls here. She has like a legit collection.
Yes,
It's crazy.
I have a lot of babies.
a lot of little humans.
Oh yeah. So yeah, my social media is like the Bookish Crypt everywhere. So just like the same name everywhere. So that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, guys. So sorry if you get a lot of nervous laughter at first. This is both of ours first time doing a live stream on YouTube. But we are excited to talk about Sawkill Girls with all of you. I see we have some people here viewing, trying to figure out how to show those chats.
Yeah.
It's not showing. Hold on. Let me do a little something here. Because y'all are probably firing on the chats, but I can't see them yet. Anyway, Cassandra, why don't you talk a little bit about what you're working on, like your book that you're working on.
Oh my goodness. So I've been working on this book for almost a decade now. I think I legit put pen to paper during high school. I was just bored in class one day and then it just flew out of me. And I've been working on it ever since. There's been a lot of revisions, and I go like a few years without touching it. But this year I do want to finish the first draft at least, but it's been a first draft for like 10 years. So that's about it. I'm trying to keep it creepy, but not so much as horror. It is a shapeshifter series, so we have a lot of animals in there. And I don't know, I'm in love with the world, and it is on an island, so there's gonna be a lot of water. I love water, so of course I had to have that in my book. But yeah, I think that's about it. I'm keeping a lot of it secret, but I do give a little bit of teasers over on my Bookstagram. I did reveal like my main character, which like a model that looks almost like my main character. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it, so that's good.
Awesome. Okay, so I was able to figure out pulling it up. As I said, everyone, this is our first time doing a live chat on YouTube, so I'm still trying to figure out all the techie stuff. But we have some people here on the comments. We have Holly, Jessica, Lynn, Lacey. Hi, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Let's see. Lynn Wilson asked, has anyone read any other books by Claire Legrand? This is my first read for hers. This was my first read for hers as well. I know she has another series called Furyborn, and I know you've read one of her books, right, Cass?
Yes, I read Furyborn. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I'm excited for Kingsbane. Oh my goodness.
Hey, Marie is in the chat, guys. So Marie Ventris right there, who just did hey in the chat. She is another one of our co-hosts on the Book Fiends, and hopefully she'll be able to pop on into the video chat a little later on when she's able to. But right now, she's just going to hang out in the comments with y'all for now. But let's see. Let's just go right into discussing Sawkill Girls. And first off, we're going to try to do a little bit of a non-spoiler thing, if possible, for anybody watching right now who hasn't read it, or if you're going to be watching the replay later on when this is up on my channel after the live is done, then and you haven't read Sawkill Girls yet, it will help benefit you a little bit as well, and you'll be able to enjoy it. So if possible, we're going to try to discuss a little bit about Sawkill Girls and just talk about like our initial reactions when we first picked it up. Like, what did you guys first think was going to happen in the story when you first picked it up before you even started reading it all? What about you, Cass? You want to start?
Sure. So I honestly didn't know what to expect. I wasn't going in. I went in blind. I just kept hearing that it was so good and it was a feminist book. That's about all I knew about it. And yeah, I didn't really have any expectations. So I was super surprised by it. I really liked it.
Yeah, I didn't even think of the feminist part until probably like halfway through the book, and I was like, I'm picking up on this theme. Like I didn't notice that when I first started reading it. But I kind of had a similar reaction to when I first started reading it. I honestly didn't really know what to expect. Obviously I read the synopsis on the book, but it was kind of vague and it didn't really like give you a true insight into like what was like happening or like what was going to become of the characters. So you really just kind of discovered the book as you went along, and it was really unique and really interesting.
Oh yeah. I like it when synopses aren't that detailed because I've read quite a few that spoil everything, and I like this one. I was just serious.
Len says, I was anticipating it was going to be a bit like Pretty Little Liars, but it reminded me of It.
It? Oh.
Like, I didn't get it.
That's interesting. I don't know, the book or the movie? I don't know, because I haven't read the book. So.
Oh, that's a good question, because I haven't read the book either. That thing is like a behemoth.
Seriously, I'm too scared to read it.
Well, like, plus, like, I don't like clowns, and I have a really vivid imagination. Like, the movie itself is scarring. Even though people, I went to see the newest version or whatever, and people are like, "Oh, it's so bad. Like, it's not even scary." And I was like, I hate
loved
clowns.
it. I loved it because it was funny. It wasn't scary.
That's what everyone said.
Yeah.
I was just terrified of the clown the whole time. Like. Let's see. Holly says, I had no idea what to expect. I don't read a lot of horror, and definitely nothing like this book. So you're joining the horror mix of the Book Fiends, Holly. That's awesome.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm kind of weird in that I like horror books a lot, but I really don't like horror movies so much. And the reason being is because I really hate jump scares. Like it's not necessarily like I don't like being scared or whatever. I just like get frustrated with them. Like I get mad at them. Yeah. Like I just like want to like yell at the screen like, don't do that. But I like psychological horrors a lot, and so when I'm reading books, even if it's not technically a psychological horror, it kind of feels like a psychological horror because nothing's jumping out at you. It's impossible for something to jump out at you in a book. You have to be imagining it yourself. So it ends up being a psychological horror in your own mind because you're imagining what's happening throughout the storyline.
That's true.
And speaking of which, of imagining things, in Sawkill Girls, the descriptions of everything and like what was happening to the characters, like emotions, what was happening around them, all of the strange occurrences and everything like that, like I was able to picture everything like so vividly in my mind.
That's awesome. suck at descriptions, so I like skim over it.
Are you
'Cause
one of those people who like just like likes reading the dialogue? I used to be like that.
no. I mean, I do that sometimes, but no, the thing is immediately forget the description, so I don't even bother reading the description. I just like move on to the next sentence. I can't remember.
See, for me, like I used to kind of be that person who like just like skipped over descriptions too, and then I just started realizing like I'm missing a ton of the storyline when I'm
Yeah.
doing this. And then now I'm like I have to read every line and every word carefully, which is why I'm like kind of a slow reader because I'll just like I have to read every single word, otherwise like I'll get lost. If I skip over one word, I'm like, wait, what happened?
I know. They're immediately on the other side of the room. I'm like, what? That happens a lot. I can't see the questions, the comments.
Yeah, so
yeah.
For those of you wondering why I'm like reading off the comments very loudly, it's because Cass can't see them on her phone.
Yeah.
Let's see. Amanda says, I wasn't sure what to expect and I was worried it would be a bit cliche, but it definitely surprised me and exceeded my expectations. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Holly says, yes, I'm converted. Funny thing is I love scary movies. Jump scares are cheap scares, though, so I agree with that.
Jump scares are annoying. Yeah. They make me mad more than they scare me.
So. That's why. That's exactly. Yeah. Like I just want to like yell at the screen, like stop.
They're not. It's not necessary. You can scare us in another way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A big like I know we're getting off topic here, but it's probably gonna happen a lot tonight.
Oh yeah.
A big like psychological horror movie that just came out recently was Hereditary, and when it first came out, I think it came out at like the Sundance Film Festival or whatever, and people were literally walking out of the theater because it was like so terrifying, and critics were calling it emotional terrorism because it was like so psychological and like got into your head. But I loved that movie because it was psychological. Like I think there was like one jump scare in the whole movie, which was perfect for me. The ending kind of was dumb, but everything leading up to the ending was really good.
Oh, I haven't seen it, so I don't
know. Let's see. Okay. You have the list of things that you go on to discuss about Sawkill Girls in front of you, right? I mean, I can pull it up too.
I do. But... Yeah.
Okay. What is the first thing? Do you want to read it off?
Yeah. So the first thing is, wait, no, that's spoiler. Okay, so favorite scene.
I mean, we can get into spoilers now. I feel like
it's kind of like at the end of the book, so I kind of want to keep it like chronological.
Okay.
Yeah,
that works.
Yeah.
I do have some thoughts about the end of the book, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But okay, yeah. So fire off in the comments. Let us know what your favorite scene was from Sawkill Girls. Do you want to start, Cass?
You start because I can't choose. I need to think about it.
So I feel like I'm skipping ahead a little bit here, but Marion was my favorite character. So anything.
Oh, that's a question.
Yeah, I know. I'm skipping ahead. I'll explain more of why later. But like anything surrounding her powers, I really loved. Like her powers specifically. Like Zoe's powers, and was like, okay, cool. Val's powers, okay, cool. But like Marion's, I was just like, yes, like use it. Like it was just so much more impactful to me.
Oh yeah. Wait, was that the scene? Sorry.
Well, basically any scene that she used her powers in was the ones that just like kept me on the edge of my seat.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer the question.
And any scene with Grayson, because he was cute.
Yes.
He was definitely a close second place, even though he's just like a side character. Like he was definitely a close second place.
Yeah, he was awesome. I loved him. Okay, so I'm gonna answer the same question you answered. My favorite one was Zoe. So whenever she and Grayson interacted, that was like my favorite thing. They were so cute together, even when they were as friends. They were just so cute.
Oh, my thing like went away. There you go. I lost sight of things for a second there.
Uh-oh.
Of course. Yeah, techie stuff.
Oh.
Okay, what's
Next
I'm sorry, we're
question.
like so awkward, guys. But we're just like, as I said, this is our first live stream. Give us a break.
Wait, nobody answered the question?
No.
Oh,
maybe people are typing paragraphs. I'm hoping y'all are like typing some good stuff here.
I
They just
think
haven't come
so.
through yet. Amanda
So,
says that she loved Zoe too.
oh yeah, I loved. She was such a like breath of fresh air. I don't know. It was just like a unique character. I loved her. She was so funny. She had me cracking up.
Yeah, she was like the sassy one of the group. It was great.
Oh yeah. So like the
Like
next
Val's like
question.
the like stern, like bitchy-ish one. Even though she's not really a bitch, she's actually like super nice, but like she
Val?
gives off that, yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously she killed people, but like she was like really sweet to Marion and stuff. So like you see like that side of her, but I'm saying like her like the stereotype of her character was, you know, like that queen bee kind of bitchy side, and then like Marion's like the I don't know, the serious one who has like a lot of responsibility falling on her shoulders, and then Zoe is just kind of in it for the ride.
Yeah, I didn't like Val. I'm sorry. Oh my god. I was so angry every time, like
Okay,
I was just yeah.
since we're on topic, let's just talk about each of the characters and like what our thoughts were for each of them.
Wait.
So
I
let's go
see
with
a
Val.
message from Marie. I think she's ready.
Oh, really? Let me see. I don't know how to do this. Okay, just talk and I'll like
Okay.
talk about what your okay, we'll just go down the line. Since Marion was the first character that it was introduced, let's
Oh,
talk
okay.
about what our initial reactions were for Marion.
For Marion, oh, I can't remember that far back. But I think I have the worst memory. And the book is over there, so I can't check my tabs. I'm
Oh,
not ready.
do you want to like get up and get it, and I'll start? Oh,
Sure.
there you go. Hi, Marie.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you guys for a second.
Okay. So we're about to talk about our initial reactions to all of the characters, and since Marion started, we're going to just start off with Marion. So our initial reactions. And my initial reaction, with literally within the first like 2 pages, I decided that Marion was my favorite character. Because she's like gone through like a lot of trauma with her father dying and passing away, and even though I just related to her so much because she is the youngest of her family, and this like burden of taking care of her family fell on her shoulders, and I just like related to that so much because like 4 years ago or so my mom passed away suddenly, and even though I'm the youngest of my family, I felt like I was like kind of like the rock of it. Like I was like holding together my dad, and like even like around like my siblings and stuff, like when they were all crying and everything, like I was like the strong one. Like I felt like I had to be the rock of the family, even though I'm the youngest, and I feel like that seemed kind of unfair. But when Marion was describing that in the first like few pages of the book, I just instantly felt a connection to her because of that little detail. And so throughout the book, I was just like, yes, Marion, let's do it.
What happened?
I was
back.
I was explaining my like sad morbid reason why I felt an extreme connection to Marion,
Oh.
because she was she was the youngest of her family, and she ended up having to be the rock when her dad passed away. And I just related to that a lot because I was kind of the rock of my family when my mom passed away, and I'm the youngest of the family. So it kind of like it immediately made me feel connected to her, and I was literally on the first like 2 pages, and I was like, "You're my favorite character!" Like immediately, just decided that.
That's a strong connection.
Yeah. What about you, Marie?
God, I kind of want to say the same thing. I felt a little kinship with Zoe too, because I was always kind of the the weird goth outcast everywhere I went. So I don't know. I couldn't decide who I related to more, honestly. I just really liked them both.
What about you, Cass?
Relating, I don't know.
And what about you guys in the comments? Let us know what character, we're skipping around a lot, I know. What character you felt you related to the most. It can be a side character, does not have to be one of the main ones.
Honestly, I don't know. I really liked Marion's relationship with her sister. I really like seeing sister relationships in books. And I think that I like that because I have a little sister, and I can relate to those more. So I guess I could relate more to Marion than the other ones. Yeah.
Okay, well, what about... So, okay, well, so as I said, we're skipping around a lot. What was your immediate reaction to Marion within the first, like, chapter?
I don't think I had one.
She started the book. And then...
I think I was just, like, confused to see, like, what was going on.
Yeah. It kind of goes into that point where we were making earlier where, like, we didn't really know what to expect. So in the first 2 pages, you're just like, what is happening? What about Zoe? That was the next person introduced.
I think I was more sympathetic to her because from the beginning we find out that she lost a friend, and that's just not cool. So I was pretty sympathetic to her, like, right off the bat.
What about you, Marie?
Like I said, I liked her a lot. I don't know. I like characters that have been through something and then that's related to their character development. I just really like that. Like, instead of just having it be a cheap thing that is never addressed again, it forms a foundation of her motivation and everything. And I really find that realistic. I haven't lost a friend, but I've lost a lot of people, so I could really understand her.
Yeah. I feel like everyone in the book, obviously dealt with a lot of loss. Even Val, even in her own weird way. Dealt with it.
Yeah. She lost her freedom, so that's a big one.
Yeah, that too. Amanda says, I related with Zoe with not fitting in and being kind of an outcast through school. Ooh, that's a good point. She like Marie said, she was kind of like the outcast of the group. Lynn says that she was most relatable to Zoe as well. Aww. Oh, hi, Evie. Welcome in. Jessica agrees. It's Zoe.
Zoe's popular.
Is no one else Team Marion? Fire off in the comments if you're Team Marion. Or Team Val. Like, is there anyone here that has who actually genuinely liked Val?
Not me.
And so going into Val, what was your immediate reactions to like why did you immediately not like Val, other than the fact that she was killing people?
That's why.
Because I feel like that's a cop out. Like, I was
I just
definitely like, I was definitely intrigued from the moment that she first popped up, because
Oh
in the
yeah, yeah.
synopsis it made it portray like these three girls are like friends and they're working together to
Hmm.
destroy this monster or whatever, and then immediately from the first like beginning you're like, wait, is Val the villain? Like you're I was so confused at first. I was like, wait, is Val the villain? Is she the one, like, is she the monster? And then, you know, the story progressed and stuff from there. Um,
Yeah, I was
what did
really
you think of
intrigued.
Val? Really intrigued, yeah. What did you think of Val, Marie?
Yeah.
I didn't like her from the get-go because, I mean, you're not supposed to, but she just reminded me of people that I know and that I have known.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, my cat is caterwauling to be let out. Hold on a second.
Okay, go for it.
So I kind of want to
Okay.
circle back to Marion if I can for a second. I found something that I underlined, and it was, I can't believe I forgot about it. But I did kind of relate to her because of what happened to her dad. I was in a car accident not that long ago, and I didn't think I was gonna make it. So the fact every time she talks about her dad and the car accident, it like gets to me. So yeah, like that's what I wanted to say about Marion. I was super sympathetic to her. Like, yeah.
So pretty similar to my situation almost.
Mm-hmm.
All
right,
let's
now
see.
back to
What was the next character that came up? Grayson came up then, because it was Val's chapter, and then Zoe had another chapter, and this we were introduced to Grayson. So Grayson's just like a little side character, obviously, but I feel like he really helps shed some like lightheartedness to the story. You know, he's kind of the jokester, but not really. Like, and he, well, he has that like connection with Zoe, and right off the bat too, I was the story behind Zoe and Grayson. Like Claire Legrand did a great job of just like developing that storyline throughout the story without like actually having to like say right off the bat that excuse me, that, you know, Zoe's asexual and like that's why they broke up. Which, by the way, like I love that she was asexual. Like,
me too.
I've never seen a book character where an asexual person was represented.
Agreed. I loved that.
Mm-hmm. The diversity in general was like really interesting. Like we had the asexual, and then we had Marion and Val start having their own little feelings for each other, and I loved that too because they were both like kind of confused feelings. Like they liked it and they wanted it, but they didn't really know like why they wanted it. And obviously I relate to that. Being bisexual myself, so like
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, who other characters are there?
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock.
The Rock, yes.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't even considering that a character, but that was a very good point because it does end up being like its own like entity throughout the story, and it has like its own voice. Speaking of The Rock, what did you guys think of the moths that The Rock communicated with them? Like, obviously the moths was a big part of the storyline. It was like being on the cover of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout the whole story, I was just like, why moths? Like that was never explained in any way. Like why the moths are you know, communicating all of this with them. Like we have the Marion and like her bone cry, but then the moths were like separate from the bone cry, so it kind of, I don't know, it felt like there needed to either be like one or the other in my mind, and then both just kind of muddled the waters a bit. But like what are y'all's like theories about why moths were used? Like do you think that there's like a deeper hidden meaning, or is it just that like She's like moths.
I honestly never even thought of that. That's a good point. I don't know.
I think moths kind of represent the feminine and mysterious because they're generally nocturnal, and people don't like them as much as butterflies because they're not all colorful. So I think they're more subtle, and they hold that like mystique to them. That's how I viewed it anyway. Like moths
that's
are
a really good point.
for symbolism of something like mysterious and a little dark, but not necessarily sinister.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's so true. Good eye there. I didn't catch
Yeah,
that
agreed.
whatsoever. I was just confused of like, why moths? That's never explained.
I didn't even think to question it.
Okay, so let's see. Let's continue on with the storyline. What notes do you have, Cass? You want to continue with your questions? We're like obviously not really following the questions, but it kind of provides some mental break.
Yeah. So circling back to the powers, did you guys see that coming? I never saw that coming. Superpowers? No.
I didn't see it either.
Mm-mm.
Well, okay. To a certain extent, I didn't, and then to a certain extent, I did. Like, I knew there had to be something special with them to have to be able to beat this monster in the end. Like, I mean, but my initial reaction was like, oh, Marion's gonna fall for Val and then like have to kill her in order to stop the monster. Like, that's where my mind was going. Like halfway through the book, I was like, okay, so it's established that this like monster is connected to Val, and Val could have ended things if she had just ended her life. So I'm like, okay, so Val is gonna die in the end. Like I just like had that initial like in my mind like that was gonna happen, and I like completely accepted it like halfway through the book. I was just like, oh, that's gonna happen. But it didn't.
I know.
So yeah, but like the powers in general, I liked the way that they kind of unfolded, how they didn't really know like what the heck was going on when they did. And like I believe Zoe's power was activated when she pushed Val back, right? And then Marion's was when she was chasing after the horse, which was really unique in itself too.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the connection of the horses too. Like that horses was like a common theme throughout the whole book. Like initially Marion got on top of the horse, and then the horse freaked out when she was on her and then ran off. And then like later on when Marion was chasing the horse like jumped off into the cliff, over the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
The horses,
and then later on the horses were like stampeded the like cult guys. I forgot what they're called. Handlite.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So like horse was like a very like common like repeating theme throughout the whole book, which was interesting.
What was that, Marie?
They seem to kind of represent the external senses of the rock. So anything that it seemed to be sort of feeling in its own alien kind of way was represented in the horses. So when it was really excited and freaked out when it kind of sensed Marion come onto the island first, I think the horse felt the rock's reaction to her because they're more horses are really sensitive to threats and stuff. So I think that they were like just like the physical representation of what the rock was probably experiencing, if that makes any sense.
That does.
I like that. I feel like you're like our resident like deeper meaning person.
Yeah.
Like you're like I have all these questions, like, and I'm able to pinpoint all of these questions, but I have no answers to questions. Like you have the answers to the questions. I did read I think in the acknowledgements at the very end, I don't know if anyone else read the acknowledgements at the end. Yeah. But Claire Legrand said that she was like, I don't know, like at coffee or something like that with her friend. You should write a horror book with horses.
Yeah.
And so, like at the end, I was like, okay, well, that's where horses came into play in somehow. Okay, we have some some messages here. Lynn says, I agree. Once the monster's power was revealed, I was wondering how normal teen girls were going to take that beast down. Exactly. So like you kind of like needed that element of the powers in order to like make sense to like how this is going to unfold. Although again, as I said, I just originally thought, like before the powers were revealed, I just originally thought like Marion and Zoe were gonna have to kill Val. Like, and then once the powers were revealed, I was like, oh, okay, that's the direction they're taking it
in. Yeah, it was unexpected.
Amanda says, I thought there would be some kind of special abilities, but didn't expect the specific powers that they had.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. Marion's is definitely it was so cool.
When I was imagining Marion's powers, I was imagining like a combination of like the like Harry Potter people like, you know, swishing into like a little ball and then like going out, and then like a combination of that and like I think there's this movie called like Jumper, and they like could teleport different places, and for them it was like almost like a burst of light came out of them. So I was like almost in my imagination I was combining the little Harry Potter squishy thing with like the light, and like that was how it looked like anytime Marion jumped. It was like this like
That's epic.
And then obviously Zoe, like I just imagine, and she even like did the reference to Jean Grey of X-Men. So I just like automatically pictured that too. Although she was saying Jean Grey, and then I was like, but you weren't technically moving things with your mind. You were just like really strong, right? Or did she move things with her mind?
She moved a couple things with her mind.
Oh,
yeah, she pushed Val without touching her, right?
Yeah, she pushed her dress.
I thought she did push her.
I think she opened a gate or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right. When she was
like an extension of her
on her bike or whatever running away, she like was about to kick the gate and then it opened without her kicking it. I forgot about that.
Yep. I don't know. I laughed whenever she kept saying Jean Grey. It was so funny the way she used it.
It reminded me of I don't know if either of you have read Keeper by Kim Chance. It's like a urban fantasy as well about witch, but like one of the main characters' best friends is like a big like comic book nerd, and so throughout the book there's like all these references to like comic books and superheroes and everything like that. So it kind of reminded me of that. It made me smile a bit, getting a little bit of those references.
All right, so I have a question.
Amanda says, love that description for Marion Potter. Thank you, Amanda. My like weird like how I imagine Marion's powers.
That's what everybody's gonna imagine now.
I have a very vivid imagination. I'm able to yeah. That's how I'm able to read. Like,
that's awesome.
All the time. Like my imagination goes. But I do have a thought about imagination and my thoughts about the end of the book later on. But we'll get to those. We'll get to those.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, I'll just like tease you a little bit. I had issues with the end of the book, but
me too.
We'll talk about it later. What was the question you were going to ask, Cass?
Oh, I wanted basically like I want to talk about emotions. Like, what was the first scene to like make you laugh or angry?
Ooh, I just liked. Well, I think like my immediate reactions to like laughing was anytime like Grayson was there, because he kind of was like he had that like banter with Zoe back and forth, and like their banter, like their little cutesy like back and forth, just like made me smile.
Seriously,
that was just like immediately was just like you need to be together. Why aren't you together?
I know.
So that was like the first like time when I really like got a bit of like humor was like seen Zoe and Grayson's kind of banter back and forth.
Let's see.
What about y'all?
Let me see. I'm trying to look for funny ones.
You annotate your books, right? Like you have like tabs and stuff throughout it. I should probably do that for like our books for Book Fiends.
Yeah.
But
see, like I don't know if you can see them, but the purple ones means that I laughed. Can you see them?
How many times did you laugh?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want to say like 11 or 12.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's a healthy amount for a horror book.
Yeah.
Like just like a little bit of like lightheartedness that
I think it's the dialogue, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was super random when she was just like out to go dump fish in Val's car. That just had me laughing. How she was just like so nonchalant. She's like, I'm just gonna go dump fish in Val's car right now.
Okay. What was the other scene that you were talking about? Like what scene made you cry? That was the other question?
I think angry?
Oh, angry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Val kind of made me angry. But as I feel like I mentioned earlier, I kind of had like mixed emotions about Val. Like I knew she like was not in this fully. Like she, was taking these girls or whatever to their death, but like she didn't like what she was doing. Whereas like her mother was just like a crazy evil person. She just like didn't care. But yeah.
Yeah, her mom is the one that made me angry the most.
Yeah. Her mom made me angry. I'm also this is a very random thought, but was Marion's family like supposed to be like their maids or something? I feel like that was
I think they're the cleaners. I think
like live-in housekeeper.
Like okay, like it was like vaguely mentioned at the beginning, but I feel like the rest of the book they didn't really like do anything about it. Like they did have Marion kind of like cleaning at one point, but I was like, weeks are going by, and like, are you just like not like doing your job?
Like, just leaving her mom.
It was like a little detail that like I felt like it wasn't really mentioned a whole lot. But anyway, that was off topic. I just like thought of that in my train of thought. Amanda says, I loved the banter between Zoe and Grayson too. I think they had some of the best dialogue. That's so true.
Seriously, agreed.
Mm-hmm. Jessica agrees. Val's mom made me angry.
Oh my god, I wanted to slap her. Okay, bye.
What did you think of Val's mom, Marie?
She made me a little mad, but I viewed her more like, I don't know. I don't want to refer to her as a victim, but basically she was, more or less, like she had been bred and conditioned to be this person, and if she let any emotion, probably would have just gone insane. So she had this cold stone shell. Honestly, what made me the most mad was the collector and this species' decision to prey only on women.
Oh,
it was like the feminism stuff that made me really mad, because I experienced, the receiving end of stuff like that. So, yeah, I really didn't like the collector and their stupid species and the stupid, whatever Zoe's dad was part of. I can't remember the Knights of whatever.
Oh, yeah.
What was the Hand of Light or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they were called Knights. Knights of the Hand of Light.
It was just very familiar to me growing up, extremely religious. That wasn't necessarily, my decision. So was like, this
Yeah.
is familiar. Like, it's not even unrealistic. I could see this being a thing if this was real,
Mm-hmm.
Only parts I
Yeah.
felt.
Yeah, so that kind of like goes into like the theme of the like woman's empowerment and like feminist theme that goes into the book. Which again, like I didn't realize until like halfway through the book. And I was like, oh, this is happening. Like this is a theme that's happening in the book.
Yeah.
But my initial reaction to the collector only like having girls was because like he always just like transformed into a guy. Like he had never transformed into a girl until he had transformed into Marion. But he always was like in that little boy, and then there was another scene where he like transforms into like Dr. Wayland, and he like I don't know like has sex with Val or something. Um, and so like those scenes just made me think that the collector just like liked it. It was almost like a sexual thing for him, like that not necessarily that he just like didn't like girls, but that he like really liked girls, and that he like I don't know, got off on them by eating them. Like
Oh.
like that was my reaction to the collector at first, of like why he like chose girls specifically. Because it is mentioned like by Val and stuff that like when he becomes free, he'll not only go after girls, he'll go after anybody.
Yeah.
And so I definitely like wondered like, well, if he's like trying to like, you know, become strong and become like, you know, be able to like come into the light and stuff, why would he only like just go after girls? Like why wouldn't he just like take whatever he can get? That's why I said like I feel like it was just like very much just a I don't know, like a power thing for him.
They explained that they were all like that, like across the globe. All of them only took girls for some reason. And it was never explained satisfactorily other than, you know, they're the most pure or whatever it was. I don't really remember.
Oh, yeah. I the hand of light or whatever was explaining that. Yeah.
I was like,
but then at the same time, the girls are the ones who possess the powers. So, I mean, it's like, it kind of sucks for them, but then it also, like, they have
kind of sucks.
Something to fight them off. Okay, let's go into another question.
Did you have any? I feel like, let's see. Okay, did you guys want to
Oh.
Did you guys want to start talking about the ending?
Sure.
Well, I'm curious.
I have a lot of I'm just kidding.
I mean, okay. So the main thing that I had the issue with the ending was that as I said earlier, like I was able to imagine the story in the book like very vividly throughout the book. And then that last Marion chapter was the one area of the book where I literally could not figure out what was happening. Like it kind of like skipped around. And I got confused and I was like, is she like has time slowed down here? And she's living different ages? Like she's living different lifetimes. Like it mentions something about like the next age she does this, and then she's kind of like almost like a zombie in the world, kind of I don't know, roaming it around like a zombie almost. And then obviously I didn't like how like she disappeared into the portal with the collector, and then you don't know what happens, and then you go to the Marion chapter and she's just kind of like wandering around the world. And I'm like, what happened to the collector? Like, how did he die? How did he actually die? And I don't know, it's just that last chapter just kind of like irked me.
Yeah, I wanted to know what happened too. Like, how do you defeat something like that? Would have been nice.
Well, like the whole like leading up to that point, it made it sound like Marion was going to tesseract him into the far place. I forgot what it's called. And the far away or whatever, and then return and like leave him there. But like because she didn't return right away, I was like, well, why aren't you dead? Like, why would he, like, if you were really like in this faraway place or whatever with him for like, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, and especially if time slowed down, which made it seem like it was in the descriptions of it. As I said, the descriptions were kind of confusing in that last chapter. What, like, how did you like get away from him? Like, if you and the collector just plopped into this faraway place or whatever, he's still alive, so why wouldn't he go after you?
Yeah. Did you guys believe she was actually dead? Because I didn't.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't really believe it. I feel like, even though I loved Marion and like loved the whole story going forward, and I loved how, like, you know, like Marion and Val can be together at the end, and then Zoe and Grayson together at the end. Like, I think it would have been more impactful if Marion had just died. Like,
yeah,
like
definitely.
it just, that was it. Like, and then like instead just end it where I don't know, Val moves on, I guess, or like maybe like Val kills herself or something. I don't know. But I feel like the ending just wasn't as impactful as I hoped it would be.
Really? I loved the ending.
I literally Marie, I saw you going like this, and like I felt like you were like cracking up because me and Cass were just like complaining about the ending, and I was like, you have something to say. Like, Marie has thought. Okay, well, why did you explain why you enjoyed the ending?
Okay, first of all, I grew up on Stephen King, like big time. I have read so much Stephen King from like way too young an age, and I love the extra dimensional stuff. And I think my brain understands that better than like reality for some reason. So I read the last chapter as the far place, or whatever it was called, I can't really remember, was probably a place beyond what we understand of the fourth dimension, because that's what a tesseract is. So whatever was beyond that would be the fifth. So that is beyond time, which means that she's basically atomized into the universe, and she's seeing everything from all these different points that she used to be, because, you know, matter and energy cannot really be destroyed or created. So she's out there, and the way I read it was that the collector didn't really have a tether, so he just went poof. But I felt like Val was Marion's tether, like she had this love in her, and wanted to come back. So even after experiencing this new transcendental level of existence, she knew that something back there was calling her. So she managed to re-solidify herself in the ocean there, because that's like the primordial birthplace of mankind and stuff. I don't know. That's how I read it. Maybe it's because I read a lot of Lovecraft and Stephen King and stuff. I really liked it. I was like, oh my God, they went full like extra dimensional with this. And outside of time, I love drew her back, and it was awesome.
That's a cool. I like that.
Me too. Yeah.
It makes me rethink my point. makes me feel like an idiot for like not catching that. But yeah, I did not think into that like at all. And if the collector did kind of just like go poof, like you were saying, like I still would have appreciated Marion reminiscing a little bit about like how he just like suddenly ceased to exist or something like that.
Yeah.
When they got there.
To see him fight it.
But like just that fact of, you know, not knowing what happened to collector, I'm just like, okay, what happened?
Yeah.
That side here. Amanda says, I felt the ending was a bit disappointing because I didn't think it quite measured up to the quality of the rest of the book. I mean, kind of like similar to like how I was saying, I just couldn't picture what was going on. But Marie, you were able to picture it. But I guess you have like the more of that experience of those different dimensional type of stuff. And like, I don't. I don't have that experience.
Me either.
Holly says, that was such a shock. I kind of wished Marianne had died too, even though I liked Val and Marianne together.
The one thing is I never thought she was dead, and it didn't really impact me. But what impacted me was her mom. Like, I put myself in her shoes.
Her
Like,
mom was like very strong.
Yeah, she lost her entire family, and I was crying.
I also like didn't really understand that though, because she was a mess when it was just her and Marion, and then Marion's gone, and she's all of a sudden like stronger. I mean, I guess like she kind of like had to be, but like, I don't know. It just
I don't know. I
felt
feel like with
semi
this one,
unrealistic.
I think with this one, she knew what was going on. She didn't know what was going on when her sister died, and we didn't even talk about her sister. Oh my god!
Oh, that's right. She was gone right away. It's okay.
Yeah.
She died right away. It's fine.
But yeah, the thing that made me mad at the end was how we just saw her coming back to Val, and I would have liked to have seen her come back to her mom and like give her that hope that like not her entire family is dead. So like that's the scene I was hoping for at the end, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, like love is cool, but like where's your family?
Yeah, like your mom is kind of more important than Val.
The girl who helped kill your sister. Like
yeah.
Even
without that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys want to talk about her sister for a little bit or no?
Yeah, let's talk about her sister.
What was her name? I forgot.
Charlotte.
Okay.
Charlotte was Marion's sister, and then Thora was Zoe's sister. I would have loved to have met Zoe. Like every time, like or met Zoe. I would have loved to have met Thora. Like every time Zoe like referenced her or mentioned her, I just felt like Thora was like a really cool gal, and I really wish like I had met her in the book. But obviously, like
where was she?
Was
Did they tell us?
She had
the one
disappeared before Charlotte. So
Jesus.
Yeah. Or no, Thora was Zoe's friend.
Oh, okay,
I was always fuzzy on that. Was Thora Zoe's friend or Zoe's sister?
Friend.
Okay.
Was like, wait, a sister?
I think my mind kept like jumping around. Like at first I would think it was her sister, and then I think it was like her friend, and then her sister, and then her friend, and I just like my mind couldn't keep track.
Whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Whatever. She died right away. It's fine. What did y'all think of Charlotte? Or yeah, Charlotte. I got confused there for a second. I was like, wait, were we talking about Thor or were we talking about Charlotte? Well, Charlotte was like, so Charlotte is older than Marion, right?
I always thought she was a little sister. Oh no.
No, she was the older one.
No, yeah.
Because I remember at the beginning, that's like why I had immediately felt an attraction to Marion, because she was the youngest and like the rock of her family. And so like her older sister, and I felt like just everything that Charlotte did was just like kind of a crybaby attitude. And like when she started hanging out with Val, Marion was like, why aren't you like doing your work? And then she was like, I just like want like one break, like for a change. And I was like, girl, you had a break yesterday. Like when she did that line, I like got so upset with Charlotte. I was like, no, like Marion's like picking up all of your slack.
Yeah, she did act like a little brat for being the oldest. Yeah. I was kind of meh about her.
Yeah,
I didn't really like. Yeah, I mean, like
that's about how I did.
The only like scenes that got to me about Charlotte is when they found the hand. I think it was the hand. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, when her mom found the hand.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that scene.
Yeah, that's circling back to her mom, I don't know. I just like sympathized a lot with her mom, and like just seeing her like freak out over that hand. That's what got to me. Other than that, nothing about Charlotte really got to me.
And then have we vaguely hit on Grayson. What about Chief Harlow? Who's another side character that went through a very interesting arc. Like initial reactions, I would say that, you know, I liked him, like he seemed cool. But then nice. Like obviously like then he became like the Hand of Light guy, and then I didn't like him, and then the end I liked him again. He had an interesting progression in my mind.
Yeah, I thought he was nice at the beginning, and like what happened at the end with him? Was he part of the Knights? I forgot about him.
Yeah, he was part of the Knights too.
Oh, and then he
like when
them.
He noticed that they were like gonna try to kill his daughter and stuff, he was like, no, I don't want to be a part of this.
Okay, yeah. He was pretty intriguing with that book that he kept laying around everywhere. Yeah.
Like immediately from, you know, the mystery of like what's happening it was immediately introduced. And like you knew Chief Harlow knew something, but you didn't know what, and I liked that, like, how that mystery kind of unfolded too.
Me too.
I'm just writing a comment there. What's another? Do you have any other questions we haven't covered? We've been skipping around a lot, but like, let me see.
Yeah, I think we hit on a lot of them. All I would say is like, what was your rating for the book? What did you give it?
I think I'd give it 5 stars. Like it was. Yeah. It definitely hooked me from the very beginning. And as I said, throughout the book, like the descriptions were really great. I was able to really put myself into the story. Had a lot of felt a lot of connections to many of the characters, and I did really enjoy the story. I just didn't like the ending. But Marie liked the ending, so at least some people like the ending.
Oh yeah.
What did you guys? Well, how would you rank it? Rank it.
I give it 4 stars. I'm reading 4 stars. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably on the lower spectrum of the 5 stars, but it's still 5 stars for me.
I'm reading like the little notes that I made, and it's like didn't expect it to be so steamy.
That's true. Like, okay, we could talk about that for a second. Like those kinds of like steamy scenes. I didn't expect that either. I mean, well, okay, so this is technically a young adult, right?
I think so. So I don't see it marketed as adult or young or no adult.
Yeah. I feel like there's kind of a steady decline of young adult, like merging into kind of adult-ish type of themes.
I don't know. With me, is young adult is about the age, not about the content. I think that's how I see it. Like,
but like, is this something that like you would have wanted to read at this age?
Well, I mean, this age is like when everybody's finding themselves. So like,
that's true.
I wouldn't have minded. Yeah.
So, yeah. So like if I'm like mentioned earlier, where like I liked how Val's and Marion's kind of relationship was kind of a gradual, like trying to figure out like what, like are they attracted to each other, and they're like kind of confused about what their feelings are. So I did really like appreciate that. Even though I liked how like Marion went into it of like just like I'm gonna like deceive her and get close to her, and then in reality she's just like, ooh,
nope,
I like her.
I saw that coming.
Yeah, when she said I was gonna like go spy on Val, I was like, mm-hmm.
Is that what we're calling it this day?
Let's see. Oh, I was pulling up the questions. Were there any other questions we answered? Do you have any favorite quotes? I was not. You annotated the book. So did you like have any quotes that you marked off? Because I did not.
Let me look at the dialogue ones. Okay, so they're not like my favorite quotes, but they're just quotes that I really loved that were included in here. One of them is when Zoe was recommending a book to her dad, and I was just like, I wish I could have that relationship with my dad. And the one that I annotated was he said like, okay, fine, I'll read it, but Zoe, please don't be mad if I don't like it. Like I loved that. It's just so cute.
Yeah, I liked that too. What did he read? A Wrinkle in Time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, which by the way, I loved the like connection with the one book that was mentioned and like the parallels that it made with the storyline. Like
I haven't read it, so
the Tesseract stuff and like the well, I like read it when I was like very little, so I vaguely remember it, but I know it had to do with like portals and like going into different dimensions and stuff like that. So I loved how it kind of paralleled the storyline a little bit with like Marion's powers. Let's see. Amanda gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. So,
all right.
Yeah.
What about your quotes?
Me? Well, as I said, I didn't underline anything. I didn't. That's what I said. Like, I think I'm gonna do that next time for Kill Creek. But yeah, I didn't underline anything.
I really liked the beginning, the first page. How it's like nobody's point of view yet.
That's a really good part.
Oh yeah, let's
really
talk about that little section too. How like kind of every once in a while there was like almost like a story as if it was the Rock's point of view. And that was really interesting. First I was like, what is this? I don't know what's happening. I thought it was like a little prologue and then it appeared again and then I was like, oh wait. That's not what it was. Yeah, so like would you say that it was like kind of in the Rock's point of view? In Sawkill's point of view? Like all the other chapters were in the point of view of a specific character, but like those little subsections in between chapters, was that the Rock's point of view?
Yeah, so.
I think so. It mentions the Rock a lot. I just love how it just started. Like everyone knows about the island. It's like
everyone knows like the legends or whatever.
It's a good foreshadowing for like the Rock's point of views. I loved the way that they included that.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting addition to the storyline like that. Okay.
And at the end it says the Rock. Yeah.
All right, so I guess are we wrapping up now?
I think so.
I feel like we've squeezed as much as we can out of this. Any other final thoughts that we have before we exit out of here? No.
Has anybody asked anything?
No questions so far.
It was a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love this book.
I liked it. It was definitely a great read.
Stephen King-esque.
Okay.
And he never really wrote about, teenage girls, so I never had that protagonist while I was reading that book, And I also like that she does horror really well. Like her word choices are very deliberate to evoke a certain mood and atmosphere while being sparse with words. So like instead of saying full moon, which is just whatever, she would use something like bloated because it gives sort of an almost ominous like I don't know how to describe it, but
it's a vibe.
It reminded me
her word choice was like definitely very like dark and mysterious.
Yeah, I loved
Yeah.
it. Like it was just pretty to read too. So for a young adult,
Yeah.
I don't see that in young adult.
All right.
Yeah, I loved how like different this was from Fearborn. It's just
Mm-hmm.
the same author, but it was still amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, cool. So for those of you still watching and those going to be watching the replay, if you stuck with us throughout the entire replay, good job for you.
Yay.
But next month, aka tomorrow, February 1st, we're going to start reading Kill Creek by Scott
you have
Thomas. Yes, I have it. I remember how I said like the formatting is very interesting. But yeah, so we're going to be reading Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. So go ahead and pick up this book if you're going to join us again for February, or for our February book of the month in Book Fiends. Hopefully next time, Dawn will be able to join us. I believe actually, for those of you still watching, Dawn and some of us are going to be doing kind of like a miniature chat collab on her channel in the future, because she missed this, so that way she can like talk out her points too, with all of you. But we'll communicate that with all of you when that becomes finalized in any way. But until then, go ahead and pick up your copy of Kill Creek, ebook, paperback, whatever, and read along with us for February for the Book Fiends Book Club. Thank you guys so much, everyone who joined in and watched this live chat. We had a lot of fun discussing this, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching us go crazy over this. And I hope you guys got a lot out of it too. So thank you, Cassandra and Marie, for joining me for this Book Fiends Club.
Thank you. Should we also tell them about the spoiler thread on Facebook?
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
You want to tell them about that? You're kind of leading the Facebook group.
Okay, so
I've like
I'm
kind
gonna
of decided that because I keep forgetting about it.
It's all good, but I am gonna create a spoiler post on Facebook. I'm gonna pin it to our page where anybody could just go after this live stream, or just whenever you want. It's you can just comment your spoilery thoughts and talk to everybody that has commented on it. So it's like a little spoiler thread.
Cool. All right, great. So yeah, so if you caught in at towards the end of this live stream and you didn't get to see the whole thing, you can see the replay on my channel after this, and you can also go to the Facebook group and comment your spoilerly comments on there as well. So
Bye.
Yeah. All right. Bye guys. Thank you guys so much for rolling in. Bye.
Bye.